Our feature tonight is Richard Spisak. Richard W. Spisak Jr. began life as a professional light artist with Mel Tanner of Lumonics. Then he worked with Master Luminist Ken Van Lyman of Dazzleland Studios. He has been a writer, producer, and director in live theater, TV, and radio for 30 years. Richard has also contributed, several editorial essays and cartoons to a wide array of newspapers and periodicals and e-zines. He continues to publish his editorial cartoons on the web. He has published 2 short story collections, 2 Small Windows, In a Pair of Mirror Doors, and Between the Silences. In 2022, Richard published his collected poetry, 7370 Allen Drive. In 2024, he published Stone Poetry, and in 2025, his latest poetry collection, No Noise, has been released into the wild. Richard also produces Poets of the East, a webcast which features poets from Asia, Europe, and the Americas. This guy does a lot of work to make sure that poets such as ourselves are listened to. I hope you do the same for him. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together 40 times. It's about damn time for Richard Spisak.
Thank you so much, my friends. I have the great honor of having an ear to appreciate poets and artists and writers and musicians. When you speak your poems, you speak your truth. That is so refreshing in this world that makes so much hay of nonsense, mendacity, and lies. So I thank you. And I figure that as a writer, my motto has always been to encourage you to think and laugh at the same time. That's what I try to do. And hopefully I can accomplish a little bit of that. I want to start off with my humorous set. This is called The Bunny's Revenge. They decided they'd had enough. Fluffy and Butterball felt they'd been pushed to the edge. They'd had enough. They just couldn't take it anymore. The next night would be a new moon, and the senior weather rabbit had announced it would be cloudy, so even the stars would be undercover. They decided they would call a bunny barrage, a secret gathering of fuzzy bunnies. All the senior council would be there. Bart Bunny, Barney Bunny, Barbara and Brunhilde would all be there. There'd be a presentation with exhibits by all the brainiest bunnies on the block. They would catch those cats napping. The cats had pushed the bunnies too far. There'd been a truce for years and years between the pussy cats and the bunnies, yet from time to time the bunnies would capture a kitty and taunt them mercilessly, calling them names, teasing them with the choicest carrot nubbins. Now, kitty cats didn't really like carrots, but it was a matter of principle. The average cat didn't like carrots, even tender, sweet ones, but there was something the kitten saw and couldn't have it. Well, they wanted it all the more. But after the incidents last week, the truce was cold as stolen pizza from last Wednesday. Last week, a couple of cats had cornered a bunny when he was crossing the highway. Why, you might ask? Did the bunny want to cross the 8-lane highway? Well, you might ask. Well, you might. So these mean-spirited kitty cats, one by the name of Vanilla, the other who answered to Mascara, had stopped and blocked that fuzzy bunny and nearly popped. Then they proceeded to mesmerize, simonize, evangelize, and even carbonize that cute little fuzzy bunny. And after a dozen hypnotic passes, Barnaby Bunny sat up straight, took a look around them, and after a dozen hypnotic passes, Barnaby Bunny stood up straight, took a look around at those 8 lanes of traffic whizzing by, leapt into the air, and using his huge floppy ears, flapped his way over the mountains to glory, dancing round the nipple brown. While some may prize the thighs, I'm impressed by the breast, though a good behind may cross my mind. The nipple's best atop the breast, and some will swoon at an ankle's turn. Upon my brain the brown button burns and leaves me much impressed, that nipple high upon the breast. An areola peeking there beyond the dress's blush can cause the average man's blood to leap and rush, but just a push against the dress of that pouty pointy part of breast, catches my attention, holds it there, and though with might and main not stare at that pretty mountain near the best of breast, the nipple spot, that's a lot. And while all the territory there surrounded by the areola's bumpy bare will bring my mind's attention close, and with my praying lips will bust and boast, and so gently close my breath will dance at close hands, clasped lips and tonguing trace the very height and breadth of place, the nipple soft and round and tall, surmounting all the blooming breast of white and tan and blue-tinged breast, that pinnacle of breasty truth, the taller, tanner, straightened youth, when pressed by lip and well-tongued dance, will bring a deeper, warmer trance, and burns my lip to taunt and tease, and with gentle rigor loosen knees. The dreamy focus, I'm entranced by nipples' sturdy, ruddy stance, and tickled their miladies please, with enthusiasm's heady pleas. Well-fingered, lingered, slow, with well-tongued taste, and slowly circling, builds the taste. Those pounding hearts begin to race beneath as breath begins to rise and fall, as nipple does the taller size and all. The nipple seethe and seize with tender tongued touch, can speak so loud and say so much, though hair for some excites and pleases, and necks for those or toes don't see them, and some may find in light of eye the sunum bunum of the prize, but nipple, I, with nimble, trebled, triple tongue, and say I, that's where the prize is won. Though later, as raptures roll and scented deeds unroll the scroll, and ladies' legs and men's entangle needs of seeds, after peaks of passion pour the paint, and patient partners gasp and faint, it remains there to lure and lead the nipple, stare and beg to bless, with my gentle tongue and lips to press, for Ed and all the heartfelt, dressed, pressed nipples. And now I go from one outlawry to another. This, and I'm sure some of you out there have perhaps experienced what we used to call Mary Jane or marijuana. So this is called medicinale marijuana. The first, rough joint, swollen and choking, the friendly circle, friends daring some dear dread danger, sharing a confidence from hand to hand, from lip to sip, even and balanced, from hind to mind, carry carefully, measuring moments of miraculous Mary's hot breath, leafy green or dry dusty brown, bush buds or leaves, the jagged reaching leaves mind sees, replace out open-minded signs, those interruptive stems, the blasting berries of brown beetles, seedling bombs, flowering buds, gold bowing bundles of bright brain food, rude to break up stodgy draughts of thoughts, the leafy powder, pinch to pipe, that first forest time, sitting friended in the woods off the road, mere minutes from the madness, and the giggling gladness came, the raining gales of honest home-baked humor, cage-breaking, bar-bending, balloon bubbles of blue-gray brain-shaking noise with joys. Did the sleeper awake? What did it take? How gradually, the thoughts, unclots, turn, global, grander scenes, schemes, unveiling, prevailing schemes, larger circles concede, indeed, the creed replace with grace. Papers, drapers, rappers, clappers, brain-breaching snappers, slaps, sainted sapient seekers, tricking treaters, remove the tile task mask. Sitting with an album book, the look as seeds tumble south. Please plant these striving lives to solid soil's embrace, bright place roots reaching consciousness, uncontaining brain rockets from these short sections of fine leafy selections. Are your papers in order? Are they gummed? Are they easily flavored to match the merry march? Who has papers? Who has the catching March matches? Who can roll the droll tally troll? Mighty merit badges for new ages, sages, skills among the circle proud and pure, brotherhood of builder at the ashes, compliant, complete. The rituals, the glorious victuals. Find the source, sieve the course, separate the weeding seeds of need in the stem tides, decamped ride. Those massed explosive spasms reveal revelry in the devilty of tiny shirt-stained holes. Who knows what incense the fire's wires flow? Twitch tumbles the volcanic passions, humble, ashy, crumble, spray. Who's pitch part of the tribal circle clan? Who knows and who doesn't? Who knows the code, roads, the rules, tools, rolling papers and pipes, the types of pipes, the gassy glass, the gonging bong, the casual co-opted tobacco pipe, corn cob, meerschaum, or specialty antique clay, from bitty metal nettle disguise to bright blasting plastic bongs, recycled fruity station, ordered orange to apple pipe to metal tipped toilet tube, the concert scene where you brought jays to burn and yearning, jarring jays to share, the dare crackling on the firing line from handing man to partial seaward chum and row-wise warder. No hoarder hides the true wide with lining, hidden lies subdue for you. The wide array, the tray of colors and textures, dark green, pale green, dry, crackling, sticky, brown, amber, red, pale green, leafy, pressed, rock solid, powdery to pick sticky pine pitch, the itch, loose, saggy bags of rose red buds with whiter trim delight, papers, zigzag, flavored, strawberry, coconut, thin, fragile, heavy as canvas, the Frenchy fine, toppers working stiff, old friend of 1.5, 1.25, or just the serious and solitary one, to daring share the sunlight repeals the stealing ash. Can you bowl and roll a joint that draws well and doesn't run? Even the burning bud draws well without sending falling orange golden glitter in the debris that doesn't shower your sweetheart's knees with charming bejeweled sparks. The stem that starts and pokes like jokes through the paper draper rolls to push unburned the protruding rude bastion of the sacred flame trailing shrine. It's time, though thou hast added flame and kisses and girdling, encircling frames that untamed lurk inside, and as the rings of smoke surround and blue-tinged ribbons curl, confound, and tease from dreamy eyes new vistas hipsters spy, or even ephemeral, cleverer rivers with a misty, wispy, tree-lined budding bloom, winding creeks of freaks and gurgling wisps which tease and taunt with spatching, gasping spouts, thrust past the trusty thought-carrying clouds, breaking up the buds, long wispy tendrils of buddy bloom, dry clumps of brown and gold, buds that break into crushed dust, buds that sticky clump and only prying fingers can stingily reduce the bundle to pipe-fitting kindling. And the J for the day by the nickel bag that wasn't a box, but the three-finger bag that memory lagged, the carefully measured blossom that tossed on the sacred bedside bounced the ounce. And when on some teenage night, the Friday pound was pounced, fresh, wrapped from smuggler's catch. They dearly dissect that dense delight when pressed for shipment. These victorious blooms of heaven's bounty, blossoms, began when confined to seek and reach your salient mind, and then beyond whose gradient of radiant, defining, silent power trains your teaching, reaching brain to stretch out past the outposts of common drumming, mind the climb where grander, richer vistas undefined can catch and tease, toes, tiny thoughts to lots of galing gales of laughter, unveiling laughter, rafters off, and having laughed last the loss of littered dross. The little live alone, oh, call the sacred circle nigh, and the bell ringing bright brain berries, fairies music march, and catch the fetching flight. Incense folds the rolls of blue smoked wings my chariot holds to heaven high, the treasured seaside tidal wash. Medicale, medicinale, marijuana. And now, thank you. And now this one, this is a bit, dry, but it's one of those silly realities that, just sort of pokes around from time to time. This is called For Terry. Now, you may remember, some of you oldsters, that a young lady had a stroke, and her husband wanted to let her pass. But her family, being a peculiar tribe of Christianity, decided they wanted to keep her alive no matter what, even though her brain was dead. So I wrote this. This is called For Terry. If I cough, shut me off. If I bleed, sign the deed. If I blink, don't even think. If I groan, send me home. If I choke, cut the rope. If I faint, I'm a saint. If I snore, shut the door. Heart attack, send me back. If I burp, time for turf. If I itch, dig the ditch. If I scratch, throw the latch. If I sniff, what's the diff? Hardly wriggle, carry a digger. Getting worse, just hire the hearse. No longer brave, just dig a grave. Begin to doubt, then send me out. Can't hardly whisper, read the Vespers. Can't seem to hear, pour the beer. Can't budge or burgeon, call the surgeon. Can't lose no weight, then just cremate. Can't stop the worry, don't wait, just bury. I seem in the way, just throw me away. I take up space, then time for grace. Don't wait, don't pause, don't read the third clause. Just pull the plug, shake the rug, yank the tube. It's not even rude. Pull the plug, don't be a slug. The game's all done. Hey, you can use a gun. Just to, put your mind at ease. Next one is called Up on Garbage Mountain. Many of you may know that we have a problem with our garbage. We don't seem to do it very well. So this is called Up on Garbage Mountain. Up on Garbage Mountain, along the Biscayne Bay, although the seagulls stop for dinner, they seldom fly away. 'Twould seem a foul idea to build it up so high. It's not too wise to leave out all that garbage piling higher, vaster, wide, mountainous high, strenuous glazes, heat hassle, hazes, layers, strumming, summing suns, drumming, heating, stuffed, surprise. Trucks take dumps on hasty humps, leak, laughing, pungent snares, vapors drifting, wafting, lifting, sifting through the air, waves welling, falling, smelling up the air. Don't rush right up or drink the cup without a seal-tight mask to wear. We don our yellow gloves there, our acid-tested boots, completely airtight overalls and air-conditioned suits, with special pressure steel-toed boots amid the gushing whoosh. The bugs that the bugs that are mighty strange there weave quite a special strain. The chemicals they've hatched in resemble acid rain. They carry mighty virus, sure, a highly aggressive brood. So do not park your car nearby. They've acquired a taste for tires. Radials are good. The mud that moves, we call it, watching some crawl by. Don't get any on your shoe. It'll eat right through you quick. And should you dare to poke it, it'll probably eat your stick. One thing you'll find amazing as it reaches cloud-rimmed Olympic heights. There's one thing true that it can do. Bring into a tourist well-earned view a look at that strange and bloated larger Jersey and a garbage barge, ripe as homeless and as sad a sight as a garbage truck, out of luck and gas, with a year's young load of your own waste. Like the taste? And then some of you are old enough, I think, to remember Ronnie Ray Guns. And this is a piece I wrote for him called SDI. That was his Strategic Defense Initiative, where if we only had more bombs up in the air, then we'd be safe. This is called SDI, an orbital poem for the technologically advanced. Can your biorhythms cancel REM sleep? Can your cholesterol metabolism content be counting sheep? Do your misdirected melanomas marvel at the leak? Would you mind if I wrote offline on video varnish sleep? Would your documented study object, you recollect, without reflection, review detection, rescuing the site? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Batteries of flattery flaunt, heat printers Saunders to taunt, whispering casually, printing passionately, warming his ribbon cables over wrapped royal solar collectors, cables rainbowed in reclination, spiral data decollage detection. Does the paper curl just right? Sticky edges curved, breaking right? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Would you wise to wander? Could you kind and candor keep the feeling fonder? Does the digit flounder keeping parallel data aligned? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? While communications miracles help you remember those zip codes, while giant commercial conglomerates rank the urban air at nodes, do your cancer studies relate to urban blight? Hold the precious candle higher with its light? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Watching gentle airliners plunge with turbulent wind shear, while underrated radar stains to ping. Who is that? Where? Demobilizing scout ships on radar action screens. Has the battery obliged to spend this surging electric leap? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Stellar lasers mount the rings of accelerator paths. Mega computers spend the day writing Uncle Sam's bank drafts. Super calculators on rapid oxidators give the raiders something warm. Has the calm bestowed the swarm, inching Ever closer, nearer to the norm. Hear that walking catfish heading for the door. Hydrogen alert, bore right here in micro-activated mirth. Has the attorney contrived to rewrite judicial plight? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Pleistocene press fossils hang in scientific halls with antiquated docils contemplating stalls. The Soviets that fly through space have not achieved transcendental space with solar panel funneled grace. Has the salary blown by to serve the electric lamprey's sight? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? For those at home, you bet, still monitored, don't fret. But that don't mean that idiots obscene and some accumulating calf suspends the graft while addle painting past rebuke the test. Satellites casting spears of light. Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? The president is hating. The Congress is debating. The soldiers' masks are waiting. Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Don't build in space an armored place, a fence to hit, to spit in the face of human life, causing strife. Neglects the wife. Sense relents. But if too late, distancing disturbing fate, would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Missile defenders dancing on fenders re-neglect and break the neck of respect for Earth, grayish dusted, flamed and blusted. Asteroids twist and jest with hilarious zest, tilting, drifting out of sight. Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Send the rich into space. They know their place, high above the common trace. Let's send the rich into space. We'll spare them gladly, far from our face, leering madly. They've made their case. Let's send the rich into space. Let's send the rich into space. Let's let them make their own fresh air. They'll have to make it. I don't care. No use to fake it. Losing the rich won't make us sad, mad, or even glad, but it does scratch an itch. Because all they had, they stole. Shaken and taken into their bulging pockets breaking, scraping from the plates of the beloved poor, huddled, shivering outside their iron-hearted door. Don't let the door hit you from behind. I wouldn't mind if the time the door fits you. You don't have to share one drop of space. There's plenty of vacuum out there to spare. Just send the rich into space, I swear. You can keep your spoils and your buds, the royals, and just so that you're all amused, then you can keep the crumbs of clues. It seems you might have to polish your own muddy, bloody shoes. Yeah, about time you paid some dues. No longer will they walk among us. Send them out into the stars so far from us. They can take their yachts and their cars way out to the stars. Let's send the rich out into space, that place. Bless their darling arses. Let them dodge and duck as each meteor passes. Let them take their poodles out for a willy wear. Solar flare, oops, silly. And the next spinning, grinning asteroid until he needs to build his lunch. So the spaceship goes crunch. Let's send the rich out into space. They can take all their sneering, their complacent careering, and all their vainglorious poses right up their surgeon trim noses. They're just too good to tarry here. Why then, my friend, it's to us the earth and the clear waters dear. You can take your servants if they're willing. No need to be waited upon and get their filling. And if you're a sage or some new age villain, let's send the rich out into space. I'll chase. Let them spend their lives without their humble shutters drawn, and your royal progeny, entitled classes at the schools they built and spun, where each dawn of the royal clan skates right through across the gold-plated span, and then every man's a king, every woman a queen, or no more knee shall bow, no wait in distress ere now. Any scene of their mess to send the rich into space, I guess. This is one of those security poems. It does go back a bit, but I think the idea still works. It's called Homeland Defense. Between the kings of Saudi oil, who Shell and Exxon dare not despoil, where those of Wall Street's fiscal toil, where betting against the working man guarantees a stock's demand, and Desert Prince with generous eye holds courts intense, where gas station cards shall pay the rent. Does the oily hand of GH's show old CIA man still in control? Pass the ID cards, but not a fakin'. This way from true American icon shaken. Your face will now be pre-recorded, and all your flights will now be boarded. Arm the pilot, the stewardess too, next to the pillow and the barf bag fun. All passengers now will be given guns. Oh, for a shootout in the airy blue. Oh, what just a day can do. I picture the Stewie, tray in her hand, confronted by the wanted man. Toss the tray into his face, spins on her arm and kicks him trace. He rolls across the cart to a Boy Scout troop who truss him up and steal his boots. His arms behind his back now tied, they bounce him over to the choir side, who pummel, pillage, then retire, and all those who were watching were inspired. Then a group of Civitan asked for a few fingers from his hand, and a Boy Scout troop wants his bushy beard. Oh, you should have heard the things I heard. And then an old monk Jesuit gives him twice a goodly kick, and the secretary gets him with her bick. And though the pilot and co-pilot were vying for priority, they submitted their decision to the vote of the majority. Some wanted to toss him right out the door, but a cloister of nuns still wanted some fun. They drug him back to the airplane's tail, and the rugby team ran him back to the gale. Up to the galley where they banged his head 2 or 3 times on the oven lid, and a group of congressional aides in first class pulled every hair from out of his ass, and a covey of comedians dove right in with a left and a right to his nose and his chin, and a group of traders down from Duluth pushed him and mashed him into the roof, and the ceiling tiles and the overhead bin broke when they tried to stuff him in. But let this be remembered and never forget, don't ever wait till your library book's late. See if we
Okay.
can find one more amusing one for you. It is my pleasure here to hopefully bring you a smile or two, while on the one hand dealing with serious facts, and on the other hand, let's just have a wee bit of fun. So this last one was prompted by a dear friend of ours. You may know this, and let me share screen here. You may know Finn Bell, a marvelous lady who has all kinds of wit and wisdom. She gave me a prompt one day. She said, "You're a master thief, and you've been hired to steal the most famous garlic bulb known to mankind." And so here we go. This is called the Great Garlic Heist. You're a master thief, and you've been tasked with stealing the world's most expensive garlic bulb worth a veritable fortune. I'm reeling. O thou noble bulb, whose possession I desire near as dear as love. Oh, to possess thee I would dare any crime, to hold thee, squeeze thee, now and in eternal time. Oh, thou precious bud, I desire thee so completely, each clove before my nose doth dance, your perfume doth my very soul entrance. I've chased across yon merry world, that I might you in my loving arms enfold, and though copious volumes of history hath laid thy tracks, in health and wealth and marriage and miscarriage, have borne thee, noble garlic, up to the max. When summoned by the ancient healers to do thy best, from Chinese to Greek, the healers will attest, I must have thee. I've got a special handmade box that rests there in my Chester drawers beneath my socks. And though I have oft purloined both gems and gold from treasure chest and dowager boudoir bold, across the continent and in far fair Sind, I've made my way from treasure house to castle gemmed storehouse inn, to dip my hand and steal away their treasures in fair or foulest weather. Say, but this great garlic heist challenges my fame, and upon it I will hazard all my reputed skills to gain. And thus I add to my treasury this famed bulb, and I will on thy sweetie's toes to gently rub. This is known by ancients to charm full love, as greatest love is known and shown to the illuminated sated multi-munificent gods above, and while upon her toes is placed a famed inflamed juice, do I in secret embrace, gently place, sure her heart will soar, her eyes will gleam, and appear to her in my true sphere the great godlike charm of her dreams, and then upon my lips she will give to me the fated kiss, arrive so that all the ruddy drops of my heart will soar and charm. No jive. But I have researched and studied, careful that it were guarded by a few dozen baleful mercenaries, and the closest chief of surgery, and I will in fact spirit it off with the utmost urgency. 'Twill be enough. And though my confederates back in my lair, who are yet free, and as those who've recently escaped from jail, have urged me, once my hands have snatched the glorious bulb, in point of fact, that all men desire and women too, they've urged me, served me, wouldn't you? I have it, as is my habit, the latest break the darn thing into, that my men might prosper if I grab it. Only this, if they behold that brightest bulb in dreams of old, the tiniest part from this dangerous theft, this purloining of garlic's highest even cleft. Just 1/10 part would make their fortune. I toss it off with my cold, heartless, remorseless of a stern-faced surgeon. I will have this precious bulb to rub the toes of my lady love, and though this scent is worth a ton of gold, but more precious to my heart, this dearly darling there, beyond any bargaining, thus I will, it shall not be sold. So up on the museum roof I stealthily slip the greedy bones of earth, and though it's guarded by 10 troops of guards for all they're worth, I, invisible seeming, scheming, heedlessly I make my way. Even a false step on the loose and slipping roof tile cannot block my way. Then a random flare, shot high to discourage any seeker with lesser nerve and lesser love. Making my way to the chimney shade, I affixed my cables and toward the skylight made my stealthy path that had to last until I returned from my wanderings with a bulbous beauty in hand and make my way steadily, stealthily past. Once I slipped between skylight and ceiling, I could see exactly what kind of dangerous mission I was unreeling. But the mighty pole star of my mission, neither hesitant nor racked with indecision, in seconds I dropped to the museum's marble floor, and in a moment dispatched the heavily armored guards one by one, all four. And as they fell and they lay to slumber no longer at their duty, I swore I'd have that glorious garlic, no matter how great the number. I'll have it. It is my tonic. And as Pliny said, the Egyptians revere it and swell it on their earths, as the guards would hear. And when Moses took his people on a stroll, it was lack of garlic that was so oft lamented and took its toll, until Jehovah relented. Garlic was placed at the crossroads by the Greeks for the god Hecate to protect against demons and for childbirth's relief. Greek soldiers would dine on copious amounts of garlic afore their battles, so as the ancients would know and on to prattle. The Koreans ate garlic for protection from tigers, and who am I in these days and times to deny this? I would bathe and laze it about on my lady's toes. I swear mightily, lustily, nowhere else would it go. They might offer pounds or rubles. They might even offer to exercise, enlarge it, even an ever so troublesome one, say a benign tumor. And though marks and francs they might pile so high, but not for me. I pine instead for my lady's breathless sigh as she turns her pretty head. And oh, I quietly inscribed on the bright glass case, and with a dashing quick stroke, I extract that golden garlic bulb and replace with a mimic mock one made of biodegradable hempen plastic, with my holographic signature to mock them with my moniker Rick. So no chance for error. I slipped right through the rooftop skylight, and since the gods were with me, I got it just right. No need for terror. But now the alarm had been raised, and by some chance a passing cabby made a quick stop outside the museum, which gave me just the opportunity I needed to save me. One more close shave those garlic gods did offer, and then this kiss, the romantic topper. And as Homer reported, Ulysses owed his escape from Circe to the yellow garlic. I returned quick to my lady's bed and treated her just right, a nice trick. And I will end with that, my friends. I hope you had some amusement. Thank you. Brother Chad, it's been an honor to serve these fine folks. I hope I brought a smile.
And I'm all but positive you did, and thanks to everyone else in the group for passing that on however you could, even if you were just Eva. But, I will put in the information for the of right of the well, I guess I shouldn't put in the actual email information for the book because it's all the free ones are for the ones who were the funny people.
That's right. That's right. All you funny
So
people there, just write me a note and you'll have a copy. In my
so
wonderful pleasure.
everyone else out there, fuck them. But I will
Yeah, let them pay.
exactly.